Triangle KLM. K is 120 degrees, M is 50 degrees, and ML is 35 yards. What is KL? Go ahead and figure this out. Let me know when you're done. Okay, the answer is about 30.96. Okay, so we are on page 11. Okay, we're on page 11 in the middle, in the second problem in the middle. Okay, so the second problem here. In RST, so draw your triangle, RST. T is 7, R is 9, angle R is 110. What is measurement S? Okay, go ahead and do that. Let me know when you're done. Okay, the answer is angle S is about 23.04 degrees. All right? Okay, so this is not a one-shot question. We want to find this. Let's call this X. 7 is here, 9 is here. This is 110. So the question is, what is X? Well, there is no way of knowing X because there isn't even an opposite side available. So we have to find T first. Okay, so sine of 110 over 9 is equal to sine of T over 7. Okay, this is going to be 7 times sine 110 over 9 is equal to sine T. And to get rid of sine, we had to do the inverse. So this is inverse sine of 7 sine 110 over 9 equals T. Once we find that, which is 46.96 or so, we can just use triangle sum to figure out X. Okay, so you have to go roundabout. There is no one shot. If it's a one shot, one step to find the answer, that would not be an honors class, right? So this kind of stuff will happen. So I'm going to let you try one with your partner. You have this triangle that has a triangle within a triangle. I want you guys to find C, DB. So work with your partner. What is DB? Okay, so the answer is 21.59. Okay, first, don't round too much. Second, this is a common mistake. So some of you did this, and I totally understand why you did what you did. So some of you use law of sines like this. This angle over this side is the same as this angle over this side. You cannot. Okay, law of sines only apply within that triangle. You can't go outside that triangle at all. Okay, only in that triangle. So you cannot do that. If you do, then you can apply to every single triangle in life, right? That just doesn't make any sense. Only in that triangle. Please don't make that mistake. And then also make sure your calculator is in degrees. All right, we are actually going to skip the area part. We really don't have time to go over it. So don't memorize that for your formula quiz. Formula quiz is on Friday. Please check us on Schoology for the formula you had to memorize. The last section we're going to go through is this thing called law of cosine. How many people remember doing this last year? Okay, because your teacher said you did learn law of sines and cosine last year. Maybe very, very short, so then you don't quite remember. We're going to do it this year. We're going to do it next year again. So by next year, you'll be like, oh, law of cosine, remember this. Okay, so let's look at this. Can you find BC? Let's think about it a little bit. Can you find BC? Yes or no? And yes, how? No, why not? What do you guys think? Can you find BC? Huh?
Everything is in the realms of law of sines.
Yeah, or, anything that you know to do. How many people think, yes, we can do it? With everything you know. Okay, how are you going to do it?
No, it sounds so familiar. I just don't know.
How many people think everything you know right now, you cannot do it? Okay, correct. There's nothing you can do because if you said, I can use law of sines, well, we have an angle, no side. Side, no angle. And there's nothing else. So there is no pair, and we can't solve it. However, and then it's not a right triangle, right? So we can't use SOHCAHTOA. So we have to learn this new thing called law of cosine. Okay, so this is the side that we want. What you need to do is remember that law of cosine is just like Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'm going to write it backwards though. So C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. However, A squared plus B squared equals C squared only works on what kind of triangle? Right triangle. So I can't use A squared plus B squared equals C squared here because it's not a right triangle. So I have to subtract out the fact that it's not a right triangle. And that factor is 2AB cosine C. All right, first start with A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You have to minus the fact that it's not a right triangle. This is pretty easy to remember. It's going to be 2 times the two sides here, A and B, cosine of that angle on the other side. Okay? All right. So let's kind of try to help you memorize this formula. If you have a B squared, can you help me complete the formula? B squared is going to equal what? A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine B. Okay? Huh?
No, it's not.
Yeah? Okay, let's start with A squared. Okay, hold on. Let's have everybody try it together. Okay, A squared is going to equal what? B squared, plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. Good. All right, so now let's apply. Okay, it really doesn't matter which formula we use. They just mean the same thing anyways. Oh, I have it down there. Okay. So basically we have two sides, one angle. We want to find the side of that's opposite of the angle. So let's call this, what is this? Let's label this C. This is B. This is A. So we want to find A. We want to find A, so that is A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. Okay, just plug everything we know in there. A is what we don't know, so leave it alone. B is what length? 21, so 21 squared. Plus C is 42. Okay, minus 2 times 21 times 42. Cosine 39. All right. Let's apply the formula. Now, don't get too crazy on your calculator. Every year, everyone knows exactly what to do, and you end up with all kinds of answers. Reason being, number one, you plug everything in your calculator. You don't know how your calculator works for you, and then you get all kinds of answer. Second, people forget to square root. So then you end up with numbers that's in the 400s, and you don't logically ask yourself, does it even make sense? Can this even make a triangle? So please be careful. All right, what I would do if I were you is I would do one term at a time. Square the 21, get a number. Square the 42, get a number, and then get all this, and please make sure it's minus whatever, okay? And if it ends up being a negative number, make sure you add, okay? So be careful on your signs, and don't put the whole thing in your calculator. You're gonna have problems. Okay, so figure out what A is. So common mistake. Let's look at this formula. There are 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. You have to treat it as 3 terms. Common mistake. People take all of these numbers and put it together and then multiply by cosine 39. That is not correct. You have one term, one term, one term. You cannot take the coefficient of the last term and then just link it with the other terms. Okay, so common mistake. So for example, this is what people do a lot. 1 plus 2 plus 3x. They end up with 6x. That's what you're doing if you're doing what I was saying. Okay, so that would be wrong, right? You know that's wrong. But when you're looking at just a lot of numbers and cosine in there, it's easy to make that mistake. So please treat every term separately. Audrey, you have a question? Oh, okay. All right, so this answer, A is equal to 28.88, about 88. Doing okay? Not too bad. Okay, let's do another kind of problem. So go to the next page. Triangle ABC. All right, draw a picture. A, B, C. B is 6.2, C is 7.8, A is 45. What is measurement B? This time, instead of asking what side, what is this side, they're asking for what is this angle? All right, so we want angle B, which means we are going to use the formula that has B. Okay, so let me just label the sides first. This is C, this is B, this is A. Okay, so we want angle B, then we use side B. So that means we're going to use B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine B. Bless you. So if you want side B, you use the B formula. If you want angle B, you still use the B formula, okay? So you kind of link it together like that. All right, what is side B? Okay, 6.2. 6.2 squared equals A squared plus C squared. Am I doing this wrong? Am I missing? I'm sorry. Okay, C squared, so 7.8 squared minus 2A times 7.8 cosine B. That's not helping us at all.
Shouldn't we find A first?
Find A first. Side A. Yes.
Why can't we use the equation with a
A
squared?
squared. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. You guys are so smart. Okay, A squared is equal B squared plus C squared minus 2. I was like, I can't solve this. Okay, BC cosine A. Yes, you're right. A squared is equal to 6.2 squared plus 7.8 squared minus 2. 6.2, 7.8 cosine 45. Okay, so find A first. And then do the same thing again, and then you're going to find B using the B formula. Now, can you use law of sines to figure out the rest now that you have enough, ratio of two sides? Yes and no. If you use law of cosine to start, you should use law of cosine to finish, because next year we're going to talk about what happens with law of sines. It doesn't always find all the angles. So there's a problem with law of sines. Okay, so find A, go ahead and find A, and then find measurement angle B.
What's the name of the frog?
pi